Franklin County Old Jail, which was established in 1818, is widely known for being extremely haunted, and usually, it seems that whoever dares to enter finds themselves getting more than they bargained for. A YouTube channel named Paranormal Purgatory decided to venture down into the jail themselves to have a look around the place. The jail is eerily decrepit and worn down, something you'd expect from a 200-year-old building, but just because it's worn down doesn't mean that the place remains uninhabited.
Look at that. That's gonna be.
You see the old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
I heard that too.
There's a whistle.
So next to the bed here, I do kind of see what they're talking about here. If you just focus on the bed, there appears to be just kind of this shadow, and then it almost seems to take off to the right here.
Old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
Oh, right there. Okay, I now see exactly what they're talking about. So there's going to be a flash of light. So it looks like it's like a head and kind of a torso, and there's that flash of light, and then it looks like it just sort of pops right up. It happens so quickly. I should play this in slow motion. Right here, don't you see that? And then it just pops right up just in the split second that it's shown in the light. Even though the crew behind the channel had only just started to look around the jail, little did they know that they didn't need to look any further for signs of paranormal life, as you can make out what appears to be some sort of shadow figure right next to the bed, which vanishes just as quick as it appears. During the rest of the video, the crew explores the remaining areas of the jail, but are ultimately unable to find any other signs of paranormal activity. Even still though, seeing this shadow figure in person during an investigation would be enough to terrify anybody. There is a haunted painting somewhere in this art gallery in Birmingham, UK. The only problem is Ted Whitehall isn't sure which painting it is, so he calls a pastor to hold an exorcism and cleanse every last one of them. Something demonic is determined not to let that happen.
Lord, take it from this place. It has no place here, Lord. I cast this out in the name, and I bind it in the mighty...
An angry ghost keeps slamming the door. It hates whenever the pastor talks about being cast out and keeps doing its best to interrupt him.
I cast you out and bind you in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of...
Persistent pastor pushes aside his fear and fires off the final words. You can hear the defeated spirit walk away.
Cast it into the pit, Lord, and bind it forever. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus.
That could just be somebody off camera walking away, so let's turn our attention towards the chair, which Ted says is made of cast iron. Can anybody tell me if this is really made out of cast iron? If so, it should weigh a ton and be virtually impossible to move. To call this paranormal activity would be an understatement. This is one powerful painting. These police were patrolling a graveyard at night, expecting to apprehend the living. Instead, they met the living dead. Published by Kitten City in December of 2021, a pair of officers are seen walking along a path in the middle of the graveyard, tombstones on either side of them. They then hear this horrifying howl. The male officer leaves his partner in the dust as they both hurry off. Did they just wake up a demon? Or is something horrible happening deep beyond the grave? Either way, I can't say I've seen police run away this quickly before. YouTuber Stevanka, also known as Stephanie from 90 Day Fiancé, is certainly no stranger to having bizarre moments caught on camera, but nothing could have prepared her for a creepy surprise like this.
I don't really talk about paranormal stuff on my channel.
The reality TV star thinks she could have possibly caught real evidence of a paranormal ghost sighting on her home CCTV system. Let's analyze the events and see if this spooky encounter is real or fake. One night, while entertaining her family, Stavanka casually opens up the security app to check her CCTV cameras. That's when she discovers some mysterious activity going on in front of her house.
Eventually it dawns on me, like, that's the figure of a person.
Within 10 seconds, the bizarre figure seems to transform into a solid white, ghostly floating form. Stavanka herself alternates between believing and not believing the activity is paranormal. I don't want to get anything wrong, so these are her exact words at 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
I think it's a ghost. Everyone I've talked to, everyone I've showed it to, even skeptics are like, that's a ghost.
So she thinks it's probably paranormal, which is fair, but I do have a theory. The porch light and the lamppost are reflecting light back into the camera, which could create this bizarre effect in the middle. But with that said, Stavanka has tried to recreate this scary moment many times, and she has a legitimate question.
Maybe it was a glitch, but then, like, if it was a glitch, then why did it stop? Like, why did it only happen that one night?
I can't say for sure, but I suspect that one of the lights was out when she tried this again. I think both of the lights have to be on at the same time for this bizarre occurrence to happen. But if she did replicate this under the exact same lighting conditions and saw nothing, then it would prove that this is a mysterious figure caught on tape after all. Jeff Wesley is a paramedic whose YouTube channel gives us a glimpse into the frantic lives of emergency medical service technicians everywhere. Today, he must drive an ambulance full speed into the heavy rains, making his job more difficult than usual. The roads are slick and the driver visibility is very low. Every intersection is a serious gamble. Sometimes the roadways grow narrow and give cars a little difficulty pulling over. At one point, some local wildlife even veers into the ambulance's path at the last minute.
Oh, come on, Doc. Jesus. I missed it! I didn't hit it!
Despite all of this, Jeff Wesley gets to the scene quickly and is able to provide help. I just want to give a shout out to Jeff Wesley and all of the other EMS workers like him for their courage and service, as this video clearly demonstrates. When you venture onto the grounds of a former battlefield, take note, it's likely haunted. The YouTuber explains that he and his family were vacationing in Washington, D.C. when they visited the Manassas battlefield. The battle resulted in a large number of passings. Needless to say, this is a place worth haunting, and apparently this YouTuber's got the goods. He writes, "We videotaped there, and later that day we were watching the tape and we noticed the woman, dressed in white, walking along the fence line. There were no reenactments going on that day, and we didn't see her there. They note that the ghost is walking away from the graves of Mrs. Henry, her daughter, and her son and into a field near the black fence to the left of the house. The Henry house stands on the plateau of the hill on which the battle took place. Judith Carter Henry was bedridden and couldn't leave the house at the time of the battle. A projectile burst through the bedroom wall and took her life. Could this lady in white be Judith? You decide." A YouTuber named Marissa Rachel makes a ghost video update to show what can go wrong when you take your chances with a Ouija board. She thinks her house has been haunted by a ghost for a while, and she sometimes wakes up with strange marks on her body that she can't explain. First, a ghost in her room spells out the word help.
Is this room haunted?
Me neither.
I'm not moving it.
Well, I'm definitely not moving it. I didn't do that either. Oh my, that's really scary. I want to stop playing.
I can't see a string, and this video is a pretty decent resolution, so one should be visible across the darker parts of the board. That still doesn't rule out a magnet under the table though, so maybe that's how this video was made. I know this plastic pointer doesn't have one, but maybe they've taped one underneath. Otherwise, this scary video must be paranormal. This is what happens when your doll comes to life. Posted on the Ghosts subreddit by Redditor, Enigma's Light 209, who writes, Years ago, my sister had a Dora doll. However, we never put batteries in it because at the time we couldn't afford a lot of stuff. My sister was singing and playing with the doll. Not noticing the doll turns its head to look at her. The clip is creepy enough to give you nightmares. The user's sister is in the bathroom, singing and playing at the sink. Her doll is perched beside her, motionless and staring off to the right. About 15 seconds in, the doll's head suddenly turns, looking directly at the camera and into our souls. Nothing more happens in the video, but the way the doll's head snaps around is reminiscent of a bad Child's Play-like scenario. My advice, destroy that doll immediately. Fire would probably be the best. Is there someone hiding out of sight in this wreckage? Published by PH Red Fox, Yoon Sai-won is exploring an abandoned house in Korea. When he hears this sound,
안녕하세요.
is it an animal? A dog? He breaks out his EMF meter, which starts going haywire. He says it's not useful here because they're at the location's deepest point.
이제는 무의미해. 여기 가는 깊숙한 데 와버려가지고.
Using facial recognition software, a scary face is recognized where there seems to be no one. It's recognized again, closer to him this time. Later, while using a spirit box, Sai-won gets the fright of his life. A bang is heard coming from someone unseen. A short while later, he is visited again by the spirit.
뭐야 또?
But he sees nothing, and no one amongst the mess. Is Sai-won being stalked? And if so, by what? This intriguing footage was captured on a dash cam at around 7 p.m. Watch closely. As the car turns around, keep your eye on the front of the white van up ahead. Do you see that dark figure move behind it? Now watch the second floor stairway window as the driver pulls forward. Something is clearly peeking out at him. The shadow figure disappears as the car reverses, and you don't see it again. The strangest part was that during this camera freeze in the beginning, the YouTuber says he caught a glimpse of the shadow speed toward the stairway. This is actually what led him to check his camera footage. Is the shadow figure in both spots the same lurking entity? I think it just might be, and this shadow seems to move at the speed of light. Sometimes when you get that feeling that you're being watched, you may discover you are. Posted by Kuno to TikTok, this footage was filmed in Kuno's room, and according to him, no one was home at the time. When creating a video, you're usually pretty oblivious to what's going on around you as you focus in on the task at hand. That's what Kuno appears to be doing as he sings his heart out. But look behind him in the doorway, and your heart might skip a beat as you see what appears to be a mysterious figure. The black outline pops up over his shoulder, backlit by some white light, while Kuno remains completely unaware of its presence. The form lingers for a moment before disappearing out of sight once again. It's difficult to discern who or what this figure is, but if you've ever watched a scary movie in your life, you're probably shouting at Kuno to stop singing and turn around. This footage shows that whether or not you think you are home alone, you may be entirely wrong in that assumption. A video has gone viral all throughout Indonesia because it's so scary. According to the uploader, Ari Abdul Rohim, a Jinn is about to gain possession over an innocent man. An unseen force pulls his foot and then sits him up. It might be acting, but if so, he's really good. He appears to go into a meditative trance to calm himself down. It appears to work, or maybe the Jinn has already moved to new prey. I will admit that this is some of the best evidence I've seen that possessions can be transmitted just by being in the same room. I want to believe they're acting, but it's hard to fake that level of anguish and fear. So either this video is paranormal or a demonstration of how fear is contagious. A man is in a Mexican graveyard at 1:28 in the morning to see if a local legend about a crying girl is true. He has been waiting around for a while and is about to leave when suddenly he hears someone sobbing and sees a girl kneeling in the distance. He calls out to see if she is okay.
Amiga! Niña!
I think it's strange that he would go to the graveyard all by himself, but then again, he probably didn't think anything would really happen, or maybe he couldn't find anyone brave enough to go with him. Either way, if he had more witnesses or a better camera, then I would be more inclined to believe this video was legit. Do You Believe Our Loved Ones Never Leave Us? Published by Seth Ponder in April of 2014. The spirit of a grandma wants a cookie. Ponder writes, Sarah was making Lois's cookies for cousin Jenny while listening to the Rat Pack, Lois's favorite, when the lights flashed many times. Lois is, I presume, Sarah's grandma who passed away. The security camera captures the activity as Sarah nonchalantly acknowledges the lights are doing it again. The couple thinks she is trying to communicate with them through the lights. Is grandma working in mysterious ways, or does this house have an electrical issue? Honestly, the first option is way better. A young woman was walking home late at night when she was met with a worst case scenario. Someone was following her. Posted to TikTok by Carolina Judah. The TikToker captures a montage of her journey from the foggy streets to the bus to a dark walk on her road home. A man is seen standing behind the bus stop. He is nothing but a shadow. She says she ignored him and just continued walking. Capturing a shot between her though, she finds that he's trailing her about 20 feet away. As the journey continues, he seems to be speeding up, and in fact he gets closer. He appears to be wearing a hood. Carolina says he began shouting something at her, and she thought he'd been drinking. He falls behind a ways, and as soon as she rounds a bend, she sprints home. Although she couldn't see him anywhere when she arrived, 20 minutes later she heard the doorbell at the gate. She called her mom, but there was no answer, and outside her window she spotted the man standing just outside the gate. The man later jumped the gate, crossed the garden, and tried yanking on the door handle. Carolina locked herself inside the bathroom waiting for her parents to arrive. He eventually stopped, but she stayed put, too afraid to move. In the video's comments, TikTokers suggest not to walk home when you're being followed, but rather lead the stalker to someplace with people and/or bright lights. This route looked like it had neither, so what should she do in this case? Any suggestions? This slow motion video captures a man peeling around a corner as fast as he can, and soon you see exactly what has him moving so fast. A gigantic cheetah literally bounces off the wall in pursuit. The video ends before we exactly get to see what happens next. Maybe this cheetah really did come in straight from the jungle, or maybe it was kept as a household pet until one day it simply snapped. Whatever the case may be, I doubt it ended well for the person running away. Then again, I have no idea why he would just happen to have a camera set up to catch this event perfectly, so maybe it was scripted after all. Let me know what you think is going on here, and also tell me if you have any more background information that can help us put this video in better context. The most haunted house in Texas has many secrets, and YouTube team Nick and Ryan are here to find them. As they're reading through Hill House's mysteries, they hear something.
Open the closet. This is one of the portals the spirits enter through. Mariah? Hello? Where?
Later, they enter the most haunted part of the house, and things devolve from there.
Is there anyone down here?
Whoa.
What happened? What happened? Whoa.
Saguma, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Something touched my leg. I swear, listen, I swear.
They said your dog's name, bro.
As Nick feels like he bumped into something in the room, the spirit box says his dog's name, then several devices go off at once.
Please don't. I don't know what this. I'm literally realized. Bony, is this you? What is going on?
Are the spirits here trying to communicate with the team? It seems like there's plenty of evidence to me. They're definitely present, but what they'd like to say is yet unclear. What do you think a demon looks like? Ask YouTube team Paranormal Voyages, who spotted one in an abandoned house. While performing an essay session, one of the team sees a red light in the next room.
I swear I saw a red light. Excuse the language, sorry. I saw a red light back here. Like if somebody was lit up a cigarette and took a puff.
Then the demon seems to be playing around.
What are you waiting for? What the heck? I told you, there was something.
Is there like a feather floating right here? It looked like a white feather and it was just like, and it's like right here, just floated right past me.
Is she just seeing things?
I feel like I see like a little shadow like coming out of the bathroom. It's on the floor.
Another of the crew puts on the aura goggles, and now he starts seeing things the others can't.
Is there a sphere over in that little corner over there, like about the size of a ball? There's something round.
There's no sphere over there, from what I can see.
Then a terrifying message is given to the team.
Demon, your name.
It just said I'm a demon.
What?
I just said that.
Who said that?
Holy.
You're not alive? Yeah, we don't laugh out here.
And the team member wearing the aura goggles sees something crazy.
Oh my god, I seen something move. Oh, that was wicked. Oh my, you should have seen that. Oh, whoa, these are freaking awesome. Oh my, I'm shaking.
Sorry, I laughed.
Oh my god, you ought to. Holy, that was so cool.
I wish we could see it too. I'm definitely feeling it though, and it feels evil. Back in 1993, this TikToker's father took a video on a sharp camcorder. She thinks he captured a ghost. Posted on TikTok by Olivia Bishop. The mysterious video shows a child at play while her parents watch.
For all those Gen Zs out there, this is a camcorder. We'd set it up, press record, and go about our day. I don't know why, it was just a 90s thing. And just so you guys know, we've had a ghost in every house that we've lived in, so that's why I found this very intriguing. Go ahead and watch that pumpkin in the left-hand corner, and let me know what you think.
A small plastic pumpkin sits at the end of a slide near the camcorder. After a moment, it rolls across the floor on its own for no discernible reason. Some in the comments note that the baby looks over at the pumpkin at the exact moment, like she senses something is there. Olivia claims to have had a ghost in every house they've lived in. Is this one of them? It appears that's the case. A paranormal channel called Jinn Ghost Bangladesh goes exploring one of the most haunted abandoned places in his country, an old house in the woods where scary things happen to anyone who dares enter. Scary things like disembodied voices speaking from within.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And strange noises coming from where no one is standing.
Spectral. Reading shit. Spectral.
and living vines move across walls. Watch this part and tell me if you think he was passing out from fear or a spiritual encounter. He recovers and they think they see a shadow figure looking around the corner. In front of the house is an all-seeing eye next to a doorway that spontaneously ignites in flames. Across from the flaming archway is this hand-painted altar with 5 candles on each side of a star, and outside could be the red handprint of a recent sacrifice. The drawing of an evil-looking goat-headed creature on 2 legs gives me a sinking feeling, and I really don't like how a large white orb floats into it at 33 minutes and 20 seconds. The flames burn taller when they see this figure on the wall, as if the 2 events are somehow connected. They return to the altar and find creepy dolls have been pierced with steel wire through the head, and that's when... There's a scream and the creepy dolls begin moving on their own, while everyone is standing out of the room. They don't zoom in all the way, so maybe it's on a string, or at least I hope so, because if not, then that is some really scary stuff. Beware of randos crossing the road at night, especially if they look like they've just escaped an asylum. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, this creepy clip was discovered on YouTube and originally posted in May of 2020. A couple of men are driving down a highway near Riga one night when they slow down for a stray individual to cross the road. It's not clear if the person is a man or woman. Whatever the case, they've got long dark hair and are only wearing a large oversized white shirt. The pedestrian slowly starts to cross as the men pull to a stop, but the stranger stops halfway and turns around to face the vehicle head on. For a moment they stand there before heading again on their way. Those in the comments are flabbergasted as the driver from the video, with some saying that's obviously a witch, while Sony Bravo adds, I was expecting her to lash out, to be honest. Talk about an anticlimactic ending. Many legends haunt the legendary Hinsdale house in New York. YouTube team Haunts Me have come to investigate their truth. As the group is sitting in the house, they see something.
Right? Yeah.
Outside the window or inside?
Inside.
Inside, like on the couch.
On the couch.
Another of the team hears something.
Something out there.
Yeah. Out there?
Yeah, and our tech crew heard it too because I watched them look.
Come on, you can check them out.
Again, one of the ladies senses something on the couch.
Just got up off the couch.
Me, Caroline came.
And they see another figure.
You can hear somebody out there.
Yeah, I just saw somebody. I don't know if anybody else is paying attention, but they just walked behind the monitor.
Behind the monitor?
Yeah.
Into the baby carriage room?
No, the other way, from the baby carriage room.
To the back, towards the bathroom.
Yeah.
They then hear footsteps upstairs.
Very cool.
Be looking at it right now.
Then the house tells them what it needs.
Energy.
So clear! It's so clear!
If I were them, I'd take my energy out of this soul-sucking house as fast as I could. This one's a real head-scratcher. This Redditor shared this video of a USB cable with a life of its own. Let's take a look. Let's see it again, slower this time. The cord is still for about 20 seconds and then becomes active again.
Yes.
If you zoom in on the cable, it does look like there's something attached to it about 2 inches below the head.
Oh, you bad.
But you can't see the string, so I'm hesitant to say that's not just a reflection of light on the cord at certain angles. I can't offer a resounding verdict on this one. What do you think it is? A YouTuber named Victor Poulin suspects that something is wrong with this plane, and I need your help to come to a reasonable conclusion. The plane looks completely normal until approximately 1 minute and 50 seconds into the video, when a bright red tint forms along the edges seen here. The changing color could be from the way the sun hits the aircraft, but that still doesn't explain how the plane seems to break up into multiple parts. Then again, maybe it's just his unsteady camera.
Now see how it almost looks like it changed shape? There's lights all in different places.
Victor Poulin is convinced that the plane is some kind of holograph, but I think it's pretty unlikely, because I've never heard of anything like that before. Still, what do you think the real explanation is? Or do you think his assumption is correct? Is your child seeing things, or is there something to her visions? Posted by Colin71514 to the Chills Narrator subreddit. This story and subsequent video will send chills down your spine. The Redditor explains that her story begins in December of 2018. The couple had bought their 4.5-year-old daughter a secondhand baby doll. Things were pretty normal until they weren't. After about 2 weeks, Colin's daughter started breaking things for no reason. Thinking it was just a phase, the parents didn't worry too much about it. The daughter then started wanting to sleep in their room, saying a little girl kept waking her up at 3 in the morning. This went on for 2 months until her father got an uneasy feeling about the doll and decided to throw it in a dumpster far away. This brings us to the video in question. The daughter is seen in the room playing on her table on the bed. She moves off the bed shouting for her dad, then looks up at the window beyond and starts to scream. The Redditor says her daughter claims she saw an old woman in the window. Exterior cameras didn't capture anything near their home. Considering the Redditor herself and her husband experienced odd things in this home as well, perhaps this is more than just a child's imagination. The world is filled with lost radio signals from long ago. One of these many mystery stations was this broadcast from East Germany that started in the 1970s. We still don't know what it was, only that it sounded like it could drive a person to madness if they listened for long enough. Every so often, the overwhelming wall of noise would give way to a group of men singing in twisted voices. Maybe it's just me, but this almost sounds like some kind of ancient ritual or chant. The broadcast abruptly stopped in 1990 after about 20 years. Give me your best guess as to what this broadcast was used for, because I haven't the slightest clue. A spirit pulls a member of the YouTube team, Kaza Sobrenatural, down a staircase in this scary video. Upon first entering the haunted place, they hear something, and they discover a rope tied to a wooden beam overhead.
A gente acabou de escutar os passos ali. Calma, Der. Tá muito iluminado ali. Normal. E a corda continua aqui, aquela corda, cara, que tinha aqui, ó. Parecia que uma pessoa tava querendo se enforcar. Vai, aqui.
Is that a noose? As they continue their search of the place, they hear a voice.
Pô, escutou a voz aqui, ó. Aqui, olha lá. Escutou a voz? Credo, Sandro.
They hear something again and start to head upstairs.
Sério, cara, que tu falou? O que foi isso? Meu Deus. Pega a maneira. Sandro, o que foi isso? Não. Vamos lá. Nossa. Não, aqui eu sei, aqui. Não é, gente.
But they soon wish they wouldn't have.
Vou sair daqui. Deixa eu só pegar isso. Vou sair daqui. Ô, cara! Que coisa? Ô, velho!
What just dragged this crew member down the stairs? If it is indeed a spirit, I wouldn't be following it downward. It may be leading this team to the fiery depths below. A YouTuber named Ponji Petualan is searching for frogs with his friends late at night along with anything else they can find. The team has their head down to look for prey, but at 21 minutes and 4 seconds, Ponji looks up for the briefest of moments. and catches this bipedal creature as it sprints away from the light. It happens so fast that they don't even appear to see it at first. It appears to be a pale white and instinctively flees from the light, which makes sense for a nocturnal creature to do. It does not make a sound as it moves, despite being the size of a human and a very close distance away. A YouTuber named AG is playing with her phone on the floor when her CCTV system records a bizarre and possibly paranormal display behind her. The strangely shaped phantom consists of little more than 2 arms and a head. The face is simply a single eye in the middle, almost like it's looking at her from the side. The video itself looks a little pixelated, so I guess this could be special effects, or maybe even the brief reflection of something against the wall, though of what I cannot say. Stranger still is how, out of everywhere else in the room, it appears directly behind her, almost like it's self-aware and choosing to do so. It's 12 in the morning when this stranger starts creeping along the side of a fence in slow and even steps, as if in a deep trance. He has an old portable radio on full volume, and he doesn't say anything, just slowly turns the knob.
That's writers.
Occasionally, he pauses long enough to stare through the fence without saying a word. His radio does plenty of communicating though, and this part is especially weird. The radio just so happens to say something about walking away here. They reach the end of the chain link fence and nothing separates the two. The video ends with a really long stare down that the strange man easily wins. He reaches into his coat pocket for something, and the cameraman bolts for cover. A smart decision. If you've ever been in a bug swarm of any kind, you'll know it can give you chills. This mayfly swarm is no different. In fact, it's practically nightmarish.
Oh my god!
When the mayflies took over this bridge in Iowa, snowplows were required to unblock the swarm buzzing in the bridge's path. In fact, the bridge had been so completely swarmed by the bugs that emergency crews were sent to the area. The nightmare scene turned into a scary situation after bikers tried to plow through the massive heap of mayflies but lost traction. Luckily, they escaped. The bridge's clearing was recorded by Tina Franzen as she rode along in her son's police car. Franzen said of the event, "I've lived in Sabula since '75. I've never seen that many before, ever." To clear the bugs over the following weeks, it was decided by the Iowa Department of Transportation to keep the streetlights off near the bridge, as the lights attract the mayflies. Here's hoping it all worked out for Iowa. They don't need any more of this nightmare fuel. When a YouTuber named Blake Smith's Gaming Blitz claims to have been hearing paranormal sounds from his basement, his followers suggest that he leaves a camera downstairs and record what happens. He takes their advice, and this is what his phone supposedly picks up. The video goes on like that for over a minute, but he comes back and gets his phone. If this video is fake, then I personally don't know where he got these effects from. It doesn't sound like any movie I've seen or any game I've ever played. If you recognize the sounds from somewhere, or if you think this is real, then I definitely want to get your opinion. Here's another video from the same channel so you can hear it some more.
Hello?
Imagine waking up one morning and finding this thing lurking in one of the most intimate areas of your home. That's the reaction of a YouTuber named Stefani Van Tinnen and her mother upon finding a huge rat in their toilet. They start talking about how to get rid of the giant rodent and finally come up with a plan. When coaching it to jump into the bag doesn't work, Stefani grabs a glove and a towel, and with the help of her mother, finally gets it inside of the bag. Her mother runs outside of the house and puts the rat in the front lawn. My question is, do you think you would have had the courage to grab a possibly diseased rat straight from a sewer like they did, or would you have called Animal Control Services? To be honest, I probably would have contacted Animal Control Services. This man is all bundled up, and yet what's being reflected in his sunglasses leaves him shuddering. A bony face follows him no matter where he turns, its gaping mouth crying out without a word. The reflection of his arm does go in front of the face at 30 seconds, so maybe it's the way something's hung on his wall. I wish he would have flipped the camera to show what was in front of him, then maybe we would know if anything on the wall was making that creepy face or not. There's something more to this cemetery than what meets the eye. Published by KBC Cazadores de Fantasmas in January of 2022. Crew senses a presence at the Seaway Cemetery. As they're wandering through the grounds, something makes a sound behind the wall. They all run to different parts of the wall to try and look in. Nothing is beyond it. Later, a strange light flashes, again from behind the wall in the graveyard. Something is sinister here, but I'm not sure what. The Paranormal Voyages team is staying overnight at America's scariest motel. Will they get any sleep? Let's find out. Outside, they come across children's graves.
Is that you out there making noise?
When they ask the spirits if they're there, the response is chilling.
That was a kid.
That was a kid.
And the follow-up is even creepier.
There's a witch.
Huh?
It said there's a witch.
My life battery is dying quick.
Yours?
Fully charged.
But just when you think it can't get worse...
Can the kid come forward and talk to us? Tell us your name. Don't be shy.
Where is the kid? You said that was a kid that I heard.
A little later, Celia feels something.
Touch me?
What?
What are you touching my hair for? Yes.
No?
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Yes, you touched the top of my head.
That was your better.
You touched my head.
Back in their room, the haunting follows.
To see if you catch it sometimes.
Feels like they're pacing, kinda.
Yeah,
It sounds like it hasn't happened to us before. We've even slept in the room on the second floor, and we've heard walking on the roof.
When they finally get some sleep, a series of strange events happen. The water turning on and the bedsheet lifting has me convinced that this place is truly haunted. What do you think? Would you stay here? A man in Indonesia goes exploring the most haunted places of his home country to unlock supernatural myths of a different official nature, hence the channel's name. Out here, the ghost world has formed communities deep in the rainforest. He knows this place well and senses one near. Standing before him is an eerie apparition that gives me anxiety, like something has gone wrong. The paranormal exploration does not end with him running away. He has become strangely at ease around them, less terrified over time, or maybe okay with them all along. After a little more exploring, our adventurer finds a second spirit and does not come as near. He might be afraid, but I think he's simply respecting their space. I did some research and this creepy video looks like a possibly real ghost sighting of a Pocong spirit, seen mostly in Indonesia and Malaysia. It's said that the spirit's appearance under the shroud depends on the current state of their physical body. In other words, if he were to look underneath, he would see how rotten they were, but he dares not do such a thing. These are his ancestors, and he might have wanted to show us that there are real ghost videos on the internet if you know where to look, and that a ghost haunting the woods doesn't automatically mean it's one of the scariest places in the world. It's a really good point, but this scary video's got me freaked out nonetheless. Costa Rica is full of many beautiful sights. Under your pillow is not one of them.
Scorpion on my pillow.
Is it alive?
I'd say it's very much still alive. A gigantic stinger is curled high above at the ready. I don't know if he was sleeping under this terrifying creature all night, but I think he might have been. If so, he's really lucky he never fluffed the pillow. Seriously though, I really want to know what kind of scorpion this is, and how risky this event really was. A doll with a creepy aura is chilling enough. So what happens when the doll actually moves? The G-Team Paranormal Investigators posted this video to YouTube in March of 2019 writing, "After my recent video with Omar, I decided to take his haunted dolls home with me that night. I did not bring them inside my home. I left them in a shed out back. After watching back the video I did with Omar a few times, I decided to introduce his dolls to mine and turn the camera on. The video reveals an unsettling movement. As Patty, the host, is talking about the dolls, you can see one of the porcelain dolls' heads moves ever so slightly.
Because I don't want to keep her, but I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested, I don't... Did that thing just move?
As if she's listening. Is she? If she is, does she like what she's hearing? She must not have gone full-on Chucky when the camera stopped rolling. So we can assume so. Schwinn Protocol wants to remodel his dreary basement, which only has a dirt floor. After digging many layers down, he finds this rusty old entranceway that presumably extends even deeper. He doesn't really have a good feeling about this at all, but he needs to know everything about the basement before he can get the job done. So he has to see for himself what's on the other side. He lifts the heavy cement plug, and white orbs soon follow, though I guess they could also be dust particles. Either way, he is puzzled to find a wide cavern filled with darkness. As his light traces along the rough edges of the floor, he slowly begins to piece together some unnerving observations out loud.
That's probably about a 13 or 15 foot drop. So definitely a bigger person wouldn't be able to fit down there. Wouldn't even be able to fit a ladder down there though,
So basically, this is a deep hole with an entrance that's too small for an adult, but just the right size to squeeze through a child. I'm not sure what this was really used for, but I do agree that it's weird to have a random hole in your basement that's easy to fall into and tough, if not impossible, to get out. To be fair, the YouTuber later wrote in the description that he thinks it was part of a drainage system that's no longer in use. Maybe he's right, or maybe he's just trying to explain something that he wishes he never saw. Someone could have spent their entire childhood down there for all we know. A YouTuber named Dark Corners is exploring the deep web when he comes across a video that he instantly regrets watching due to a possible curse. A nauseating noise forces him to take off his headphones, and even though it's in a different language, he still knows that he has witnessed something he was never meant to see. If you are able to read Japanese, please translate the text into English so we can all better understand. I just wanted to add that this long beep is exactly the same noise that hospital equipment makes when you flatline, which leads me to think that this text could be talking about ending your very life. Let me know if you think my suspicions are correct, or if I was way off with this assumption. This hauntingly scary video was taken during a ceremony in the desert of Saudi Arabia. Look closely or you'll miss the scary stuff. First, pay attention to how the flames bend without any wind. Any gust of wind blowing the flames this hard should be kicking up sand and moving the branches of the nearby bush, but it's not. Then, after 16 seconds, a bizarre phantom apparition begins to materialize in the circled area. What's beyond creepy is this scary face that appears at 18 seconds and never fully goes away. A still image taken at 19 seconds reveals a floating face with a big nose and strong chin. Freaky, right? Or maybe it's just a lens flare from the flames. Still, the timing is a little bit too coincidental to not at least briefly consider the paranormal. Bright lights can play tricks on you, but this is not a trick. Published by Lane Ghost Hunter in August of 2011, this scary phantom was captured on camera in a driveway. The driveway is dark at first, nothing there. When the car turns on its headlights, the woman holding the camera gasps. That's because she sees this creepy semi-transparent figure appear against the wall for a moment. After shaking in fear, the camera steadies, and the figure is gone. Do you see it? Or is it just a figment of our collective imaginations? What are the Jinns trying to hide? YouTube team Paranormal Mai confronts the lie of the Jinn in this scary video. After walking through this empty, bare home, he returns to this room, where he finds a strange setup.
Bismillah. Allahu Ekber.
Did a Jinn just enter this home? If so, where is it? I wouldn't look over your shoulder if I were you.
Karşımda duruyorsan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Oh my god. Richard Griebnick recorded this creature from inside his home over the summer of 2017. He is on the phone calling a friend named Mike for help while a large, hunched-over white humanoid prowls around his backyard. The gargoyle, as Richard describes it, seems to sniff the air from time to time, almost as if it can detect someone's presence nearby. It certainly has the build of a predator, but for some reason it seems hesitant to move forward. If you were wondering why Richard would call his friend instead of the police, I was thinking the same question, but soon it becomes clear that Mike knows how to handle this situation better than anyone. The humanoid creature convulses as Mike unleashes a string of words in an ancient-sounding language I have never heard before. If you recognize what is being said here and can translate, please let me know. After Mike is finished speaking, the creature sulks off into the forest where it came from. The event looks very convincing, but I wish that Richard could have zoomed in a little more so we could have gotten a closer look. If this is real though, then he was probably way too scared to worry about camera work, so I definitely understand and still fully appreciate what he was able to record. Most people run away from monsters, but these two friends seem to be chasing one down. The creature looks to be very wide and is either covered in matted black fur or wearing huge black robes. I can't exactly tell which one. What I do notice are the impossibly large feet, and even though it's kind of hard to see, towards the end of this clip I can barely make out a gigantic white hand that is almost the size of its entire body. The creature's proportions make absolutely no sense, and when it turns around to defend itself against them, the front looks even more horrifying. Look again and you'll see the creature has a giant gray face that is twisted and warped beyond recognition. This still frame shows what I am talking about. Let me highlight the two eyes and open mouth so you can see it better. And of course, its oversized, gnarled hand is reaching out for them both. According to YouTuber Gankwapi, This abandoned house has a horrific history. It's near the end of their investigation that they encounter this spirit. If you look a little closer, you can see a figure lurking in the darkness. Look to the right. Is that the old man's spirit, stranded to haunt this evil house for eternity? I suspect it just might be, although I could also see it being the life-taker's demon, jailed forever in this purgatory on Earth. Don't look behind you. This scary video is trending in the Arabic-speaking YouTube community. After witnessing something terrifying, this man flees to his car, but that something is there waiting for him. The creepy video, originally posted to TikTok by elkakoi.tv, also reveals what initially scared the man.
Still. I got call still.
But as we already know how it ends, the man clearly has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. If I were him, I'd be getting the heck out of that house ASAP. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Sallow Mac and originally published to YouTube by Bike Jinn in March of 2020. This paranormal investigator may have just crossed paths with something very nefarious. While exploring an abandoned house, the investigator spies this creepy witchy woman in the hallway. Flames suddenly spark, running down the length of the hallway and flying up into the air in the adjacent room. It then falls in a giant blaze to the floor, burning in a ball on the carpet. For a time, the investigator watches the flames burn. It burns low, but then it bursts again, while the door behind it swings closed and then opens repeatedly. Is this a Jinn's doing? Or maybe a witch's? Either way, get the heck out of there. Is something in this Redditor's bed? Redditor Zealous Ideal Art 8526 shares a video of something sinking into the bed while they and their dog are sleeping. Take a look. It almost looks like the bed deflates. At the same time, a shadow appears on the back wall. Watch again. While the Redditor clarifies that the shadow may be caused by the TV, the rest isn't as clear. No one in the comments has any theories as to what it might be. Most agree that it's paranormal activity, or at least consider it odd. The movement is so strange. I don't have any explanations either. I'd like to see more evidence within this home. Legend has it this former asylum is haunted, and this video appears to be proof of it, posted by Zombie Platypus to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor says this was filmed in what used to be the living quarters at a mental institution called CSUCI. The quarters are now a modern dorm room. The clip shows a plate of shrimp moving across the counter on its own for more than half a minute. Its movement is jarring, as if it's being nudged around the counter every so often. Zombie Platypus explains that they started filming when one of them saw a quick but long movement that made them scream. She says no magnets or strings were used, and the dishwasher wasn't on. Most commenters agree with Redditor DieFitH, who suggests this may not be paranormal activity at all. He writes, if the bottom of the plate has a lip and it is wet, causing a nice seal, and you put hot food on the plate, and if the counter is ever so slanted, it can cause the plate to move. the steam causing a hovercraft-like effect. However, the Redditor says that when they tried to recreate the situation under the exact same conditions, they never could get it to move like that. A few Redditors in the comments don't have an answer for the Redditor, but having visited the campus, acknowledged that the place made them uncomfortable and gave them the heebie-jeebies. Is it just the creepy history of the former institute that pushes us towards a paranormal explanation, or are former patients just hungry? Do you feel like you're being watched? Maybe you are. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Gage the Sun, this short clip will have you looking over your shoulder. Titled Eyes Out of Nowhere. There is no explanation for this footage. The clip shows two bright blinking eyes in the darkness hidden just beyond a pillar. They blink and then open once more. Then the dim light goes black, and this pair of glowing eyes are all you can see. Don't look into the dark corner of your room after watching this clip, or your imagination will keep you up all night. Abandoned prisons lock up the souls of true evil forever. YouTuber Jade of Ghost Club Paranormal teams up with Hollywood paranormal detectives to investigate the Nevada State Prison. As the crew rounds a corner, they immediately feel frightened.
That wasn't the door.
Maybe there's something following us.
When they enter death row, a voice can be heard on one of their cameras.
Fuck you. I live in.
What?
That's too creepy. Here it is again. As they continue through the prison, they pick up more EVPs.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
And a moment later, this happens.
I couldn't tell where it was, but it was very muffled.
It almost said.
Although the team says this is a disembodied voice, it sounds like a doll's voice to me. A moment later, their REM pod device goes off, and they capture yet another EVP.
Good.
I wonder who Archibald is. There seems to be plenty of activity in this prison, so I have no doubt that whoever he is, he's still here. It's 10 at night when a sphere of light travels across the living room of a YouTuber named Play With Me. Moments later, this spectral figure emerges from the same area where the light last went off to. Its see-through body is especially visible against the dark hardwood floor. As it crosses the room and walks straight through the door without opening it, there's no doubt that this is the sphere of a person. But is this editing or a real ghost is the real question. Jails offer no privacy, and a lot of them have CCTV equipment in nearly every corner. This video of an empty cell seems ordinary enough until a shadow materializes out of nowhere. The restless spirit briefly paces in a circle and then goes to the far corner. It seems to step onto the toilet and then jumps out of sight. If this is not CGI, then it could be a spirit reenacting the final moments before taking its own life with a rope or something similar. This is sadly a common practice in jail and can be done with anything from shoelaces to a tied up shirt. Maybe a desperate inmate once tied something around their neck to the bars above and jumped off the toilet. They were obviously trying to escape their punishment, but now it looks like they doomed themselves here for all eternity. While investigating the haunted Bel Air house, Sunny finds that the stories are true. Sunny's experience there gets off to a rocky start. The crew starts to sense things and hear things.
Oh my. What?
Oh man, sun was coming up.
You cheating? Why you got your light on?
I was trying to come down the steps.
You got your light on too. Y'all up here like a bunch of just turn your light off.
My light is off, man. Okay.
And then footsteps.
Came over here. Listen. Sounded like footsteps, but I think maybe picking up Chris's.
But do they belong to his crew? Or is someone unseen closer than he thinks? Either way, I think it's time to find the exit of this place. When you think you're home alone, and then this happens. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Esco Season 95, the Redditor writes, I was messing around with my dog, just us two were home, and my door did this. The video shows the Redditor playing with her dog's mouth, baring his teeth, when suddenly behind him, the door, which is opened into the bedroom, slowly swings closed before slamming shut. She specifies that her door never closes like this, and there were no doors or windows open to create a draft. While some think there are too many ways to fake videos with closing doors, others don't believe it's faked, but cite air pressure or other circumstances that might have caused this. Dark Lord of Pretzels writes, whether or not it's paranormal doesn't matter, because if I was home alone and that exact scenario happened to me, I'd nope out of there so fast. I feel like most of us would agree with that statement. The Great Salt Air in Salt Lake City is full of secrets. YouTube team Broken Wings Paranormal joins forces with Cold Spot Paranormal and discovers a giant figure is lurking in this spooky place.
Is he dancing? Can you raise your arm? This? Wave high? Hand up?
They capture the figure on the Kinect device in a dark room. Is it a giant?
Look how huge that is. I know. Can you bend over and touch your toes? It's growing. Its head is like almost off the screen on the little side.
Josh tries to reach out and touch it, and he feels something supernatural.
No, but I feel tinglies on my fingertips.
Stand up and let's see what happens. Oh, look at it leaning the other way. It's like it's propping itself up with its elbow.
As Josh gets closer, the entity disappears.
Where he is. Oh, he left. You put your arm on it now.
You touched him and he left.
And he just...
Really?
Yeah, the minute you make contact.
In a surprising turn of events, it looks like the ghost got frightened by the living. It seems to me that Josh entered the spirit's personal space, and they didn't like it at all. A large, lonesome mansion seems like the perfect place for a channel called Abandoned World Explorer to do its thing, but they seem to miss the questionable red stain seen here at the 8-minute and 11-second mark as they tentatively test the floor to make sure they don't fall through. Most of the house looks run down, but they come across a creepy entrance that you will have to crouch down to get into. The passageway goes on for 3 full minutes until they find an even more foreboding staircase descending deeper. It looks like the steps could break away or something could reach out from below. The very bottom floor feels extremely off and wrong. He's poking around when something grabs his attention from behind.
Hello?
This odd area of the house personally gives me the feeling that someone was kept here away from the rest of the family, though I don't know why. He understandably leaves before he gets a chance to investigate what was possibly down there with him. This tunnel in Blue Ash, Ohio, is steeped in local lore, and none of it is good. Apparently, a cult once used this maze of sewer passages to hold all sorts of rituals and sacrifices. This makes a YouTuber named The Fam want to explore the area with his friends, though now I'm sure he wishes he hadn't. Everything starts out fine at first, but soon the Fam claims to feel more and more sick as he draws closer to the infamous altar room, which is where most of the sacrifices were supposedly made. Something makes him have a panic attack, and he claims to have felt ill for a long time after making this video. It's impossible to tell if he really is being affected by spirits, or if he simply contracts a sickness from being in the sewer, or if it's his nerves getting the better of him. I'll let you decide for yourself. Here's a clip of him at the beginning of the video.
Alright guys, I'm gonna keep on going. I gotta see if we can find this altar room. I'm not looking forward to finding it really.
Feeling normal. And here's his reaction after discovering the sacrificial altar room.
I'm having a panic attack. I did a couple minutes ago.
Do you think he really is getting sick from being in the presence of pure evil? A paranormal YouTube channel called Northwest Ghost Adventures claims his haunted attic has the most ghost activity out of anywhere in the UK. Here are two of the best examples of paranormal evidence. On February of 2018, the Northwest Ghost Adventures channel made a breakthrough EVP session with a possessed doll named Lily. 3 times in a row, the same male voice speaks through the spirit box.
Hi, spirits. Yeah, I'm okay. Can you tell me the name of this doll? My name's Lily.
I think it even starts talking backwards here, which is something I've never heard a spirit box even do before, and also possibly evidence of a demonic ghost EVP caught on camera. The ghost hunter administers some more paranormal experiments, and Lily the possessed doll passes them all.
Can you show us an orb, please? Thank you. Can you show me your orbs?
A month later, he claims to have been possessed while investigating. He spends the night in his haunted attic, and his eyes open when the spirit box says awake. He looks around in a trance-like state for some time. Notice how the ghost meter stays maxed out for over a full minute, beginning at 1 minute and 7 seconds, and continuing until the moment his head hits the pillow at 2 minutes and 26 seconds, at which point the lights go out entirely. As if the demon has left. Was I possessed, he later asks, and I think most of us will agree that yes, he was.